Preethy Padman, welcome to the show, VP of Marketing at Panzura.
Thank you, Rajiv. Nice to be here.
So tell us a little bit about what Panzura does.
Well, Panzura offers the freedom and vision. We have two products, and what we offer is a global cloud file system. See, it's a multi-cloud world, right? Now we have on-prem, we have in the cloud, several cloud providers. So customers are looking between hybrid cloud or multi-cloud solution.
Right.
So they need a global cloud file system that can connect all the clouds.
Okay.
So that's on one side, multi-cloud file services. And then there's multi-cloud data services. Customers want to look into their data and get a view of how they can slice and dice and get insights from the data.
Got it.
So Panzura itself has been around for 10 years.
Right.
And we have over 7,500 enterprise sites across the globe.
Wow, that's amazing. And tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a VP of Marketing. Tell us about your journey. How did you end up in this role? You've been there for a little under a year. But tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I am an engineer at heart.
Okay.
Right, so I started my career as an engineer, spent a few years there, and after that I thought about how can I make a bigger impact to the customer. So I moved over to the business side, did several different roles, product management, product marketing, even did a stint in sales for a short while. And then finally I got to where I am as VP of Marketing at Panzura about 7 months ago. And it's been great. The journey has been phenomenal.
So I think it's interesting where you started in engineering, and now you've landed in marketing, but along the way you've worked with product, you've done a little bit of sales, and so my background is marketing as well, and what I found is that marketing is really an integral part of a company as it relates to product, to customer success, to sales, and of course, engineering is involved. So how has that helped you with your current job responsibilities as VP of Marketing?
Well, one thing is that I know I've lived in the other person's shoes. Right? If I'm talking to an engineer, I know exactly what resonates with them. And same thing, what resonates with a salesperson or a product person, right? With marketing, we see pictures, we see charts, right? With somebody in engineering, you're talking about innovation, technology. How is it going to make an impact from a technical perspective?
Sure.
And so it certainly helps me to be more well-rounded as a person, and in my interactions with them to make sure I relate to what is important to each audience.
Got it.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about your responsibilities as VP of Marketing at Panzura.
As VP of Marketing, I pretty much own all of marketing at Panzura. So when I came in a few months ago, one thing was that the team was still not in place. Right? There were a couple of people on the marketing team. So that was the first initiative to build the team. And now we have a full-size team, including product marketing, partner marketing, and corporate marketing.
Okay, wow.
To make sure we're all successful.
So there was 2 people when you started. How big is your team now?
It's about 8 of us.
Eight people.
Yeah.
And so in that short period of time, you were able to recruit six more new hires.
Yes.
And so just a quick sort of tangent on that, tell us a little bit about what that looked like. How did you attract talent? What worked for you? What's your recruiting style like?
Well, so I actually try to be very thorough when it comes to hiring, because that's one of the most critical decisions one has to make to get the right people on the team. So I did tap into my network, made sure that all my people in LinkedIn and people, my friends and family knew that I was hiring. And interestingly, I was very surprised. We got several resumes, way more than I expected, because in a very short time, within a month, and as a result, that gave us a lot of opportunity to get the right talent pool. Right, making sure that they had the right background and the right experience for the role.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Are there any trends that you're seeing that excites you right now?
Well, we talked about the multi-cloud, the multi-cloud world, and what we are realizing, working with some of the analysts, is that 70-80% of the companies have 3 or more clouds. And that's huge because all of the customers, for example, it's very easy for a customer to get a multi-cloud for different scenarios, right? If a customer A is acquiring a customer B, then they obviously, if one installation is AWS, another is Azure, then there you go. Or if it's one on-prem and then one is in the cloud, right? 2 instances. So multi-cloud has become the new norm. and 70-80% of the enterprises are already embracing it. And that is some trend that we really think that our product can help address the needs from that multi-cloud. And the second thing is, everybody's talking about AI, machine learning, right? That's the hot topic.
Right.
And so that's another trend that's very exciting to me as a person and as a company. Right, so we're looking to see how we can help our customers, drive insights by providing them the right tools and the machine learning.
Got it. I'll come back to that. But so tell me about to cloud or not to cloud. What's your philosophy there?
To cloud or not to cloud? Well, that's the blog I wrote.
Yes,
after VMworld, and actually, it's something that happened, right? Because I was just listening to conversations in the floor, meeting with as many customers as I could.
And this was like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, not too long ago.
Not too long ago.
VMworld in San Francisco.
That's right. And like 20,000 people in one roof.
Right.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Good, experience.
Yeah.
So customers came by, and when I asked them, so tell us, what's your cloud journey? Like, so there were 3 types of responses. One type was, we're already on the cloud, right? And second is, we're trying to get to the cloud. And third is, oh, cloud, that's a bad word in our organization.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
right, it's
Yeah.
and the point is that different customers, like for example, government customers are going to be more hesitant.
More
right?
on-prem.
Exactly. Right, there are dark sites and all these type of deployments
Sure.
that are happening. And so what we realized as a company is that we got to be there for the customer, right? What does the customer really need? They could be all on cloud, or they could be all on-prem, or somewhere in between. But how can we help them, and how can we be a partner to them in that journey, whatever they choose it to be?
So I love that, because you're on the floor, being at a conference like that is pretty intense, and you're asking the right question, and you're getting this intel, which led to this blog, to cloud or not to cloud. And so how then can you take this sort of information that you've gathered and help sort of refine your messaging, or make sure that those that are sort of on the fence or need help getting through that digital transformation to get over to the cloud? How do you sort of take that information from a marketing perspective and then leverage it in a meaningful way?
Absolutely. I think we are coming out with some cool new campaigns. One is, to actually go after the digital transformation trend that you talked about.
Right.
Right. When customers talk about digital transformation, and especially when you ask a second question, right? Once you talk about the cloud, the second question is, okay, how do you actually make it all happen?
Right.
Then they talk about, oh, it's going to be a multi-year project, or at least of several months.
Right.
What if you could do it in half a day?
Wow.
How impressive would that be?
Very impressive.
For the customer and for the people who are actually risking their career to make these choices of technology.
Right.
That would be phenomenal.
Right.
We are empowering the customer to make that choice.
Yeah.
And that in turn, our messaging reflects that whole accelerating the journey to digital transformation. That on one side, but that's just half the story.
That's the freedom?
That's the freedom,
Okay.
right? And the other part is, now customer success is all dependent on business insights. Unless you have the data, unless you know where the revenue is coming from, where is my business coming from? Is it APAC, EMEA, is it Americas? Where in Americas?
Right.
And what do I do to change the levers and those type of conversations that customers are having? So our second piece of the journey that we embark with the Vision AI is about helping data make business insights, right? Provide business insights. So those are the 2 type of messaging that we are getting out based on what we heard.
And I mean, very, very important, right? There's so much data available at your fingertips. How do you meaningfully extract the right insights to help inform your business the right decisions?
Yes.
Or where that data is coming from, to your point of, is it APAC, is it EMEA? And what do you do with those insights to then take it, to land and expand, or whatever the use case is that you need to do? And so bringing it back to Vision.ai and artificial intelligence, tell us a little bit more about how Panzura is using artificial intelligence and machine learning in the Vision AI product.
So it's part of the architecture, in terms of having that, ability to do the machine learning. So initially, like we were looking at, okay, how the whole Vision AI was started out as an internal project. right? How it started out is we have our Freedom project, and Vision has 3 different offerings right now, and more to come. So I'll quickly walk you through that whole journey, right? So with the Freedom, all our customers were having these global file system, and all the data was across the board, across different areas, all these files across the whole globe or different sites. Right? And the first service we launched last year was file search service, to be able to find the files, right files.
File search service.
File search service.
Got
right?
it, okay.
And giving a vision of especially what data is hot, what data is cold, those type of insights about the data, which the IT team is interested in, and different teams across the company would find value. What is the usage of memory, CPU, and all that, right? The system performance, and that's a critical use case for customers, and that's been really valuable for our customers who are already using the Freedom product, right? And we're also trying to customize some of the use cases for some of the tools that they use. It could be like design tools, it could be like office tools, or whatever that could be, right? We're trying to give insights. That was the first service. Then we looked at something called the Elasticsearch. I don't know if you're familiar. It's a new, open source platform out there that helps customers to drive insights on different situations. Right? Customers are using it. They were like as the Elasticsearch community has been growing like 10 million users a month, and really huge uptake.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So we sort of looked at that and how can we make a difference in that. So we launched the Elasticsearch service and the Log Analytics service. In fact, the Log Analytics service was launched at VMworld this year.
Congrats.
Yeah,
That's
so,
great.
yeah.
And this is a SaaS model, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so you kind of meet the customers where they need to be at, and there's not a sort of upfront heavy OpEx cost.
Exactly. Right. So current solutions for the machine learning, for the analytics, be it for different uses, it could be security use case or for performance that we talked about, or any use case, you have to make an upfront investment, and sort of it's a monolithic and proprietary solution that's high cost, that's currently existing.
Sure.
But the customer is looking to start small and pay as they grow, or install as they grow.
Right.
And can we walk with the customers?
Their needs are not what they used to be.
Exactly.
So they're changing, you're sort of meeting them where they need to be, and it's working, clearly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell me about how do you get sort of rapid customer feedback in this day and age? How are you assimilating information from customers, and how are you, again, like leveraging that information?
That's been one of our critical strategies. Past few years, we've been having these customer advisory boards, wherein we invite some of our key customers across different verticals to come together. We bring them on site a couple of times a year, and then we talk to them every quarter. In fact, we did one last week. We got a lot of good feedback from them. We walked them through the latest product updates, and that helps with early adoption too. Right, and so that's how we keep the pulse on our existing customers, and of course, all these trade shows and other avenues helps to meet prospects who then give feedback. Right, so
got it.
Yeah,
got it. And you offer your services across a number of different industries.
Yes.
Which industries are you currently in?
We are in several industries. Right? We've been in the architecture engineering industry for several years. And over the last few years, we have expanded to financial services, healthcare. Those are top industries that are embracing multi-cloud. Right? Manufacturing, energy, oil and gas. Right? Oil and gas. In fact, and the most exciting industry is media and entertainment and gaming. Right?
Really?
A lot of gaming customers who have come on board for a very, very nice, several use cases.
So bringing it back to VP of Marketing, and as your role as VP of Marketing, you have all these different industries and different use cases. How are you effectively communicating to these different audiences, these different personas across these industries, sort of the value prop of the different offerings you have? How does that, because it's complicated, right? What's the use case for energy and oil might not be the same use case for gaming and media, or is it? Do you just sort of refine the message? Yeah,
it's sort of we are looking at top 5 use cases right now that we based on customer feedback and what we're hearing, especially from a customer advisory team, right? Collaboration has been one of the top use cases, especially in the multi-cloud.
Sure.
Global file distribution, right? That's some of the gaming industry, for example, has huge files.
Right.
And so now how do they collaborate and distribute the files? You know, that's another key use case.
Sure.
And then cloud migration with the to cloud or not to cloud
Right.
conversation, we are also there to help to migrate to the cloud.
Okay.
And then the search analytics is the vision use case, right? So those are key use cases. And of course, we have some archive use case in Active Archive. But what we are seeing is in terms of communicating to these different verticals, we find that, you know, one is to make sure, like we're just starting to build more vertically designed collateral.
Got it.
To talk about how other customers in the vertical are actually using.
Okay.
Like, and especially just like what you said, if the gaming industry is more about replacing DFSR, or, you know, on looking at global file distribution, then we sort of talk about it a little more. And we have been recording, like now there are a lot of videos, and we have something called the lightboard videos.
Okay, what's that?
That's actually, you know, a really cool, like neon colored, you know, write up on a video. You record on one direction, you're writing as though you're normally writing, and then they turn around the screen.
I've seen that.
You've seen that, right?
It's very
It's
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're
it's like a see-through glass you're writing through.
Exactly.
Yes,
you're writing
yes.
through a see-through glass. And that's like really exciting for customers to, it's a very new experience,
Right.
and they can actually quickly get what we are trying to achieve, right? How we can help
That's
them.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Are there specific types of collateral that you're finding resonate better in terms of sort of getting these clients over the hump, or you know, informing them in a way that's more meaningful? So video, very effective means. PDFs, white papers, blog pages. Is it a combination, or we live in a? I think, you know, we're living in an era where it's more soundbite oriented, right?
Yeah.
There are going to be folks, let's say from, you know, the technical marketing or product side, that want a deeper white paper or study done. But are you finding again, from a marketing perspective, what is working and what's not working?
Well, you're absolutely right. You need to look at overall strategy of all these content. And the way we're trying to make an informed decision is look at it from a funnel perspective, right? Top of the funnel, who's the buyer, who's you know, who's the target audience, and what type of collateral are they looking for? Middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel. So if you look at, like, you know, top of the funnel, there's going to be all primarily the, you know, in one of our verticals, it's the project manager who's helping in terms of collaboration across their different teams, right? So they are looking at these tools that can help them better collaborate.
Right.
Then going further, the middle of the funnel, the end users come into the picture. So in the top of the funnel, if the managers are looking at, you know, okay, what are some statistics on how you like reduced the time to access a file? For example, one interesting statistics is for one of our collaboration tools, right, that we enable, especially the CAD and design tools, we reduce the access time from 22 minutes to 8 seconds.
Wow.
That's the
amazing.
magnitude, right?
22 minutes to 8
8
seconds.
seconds.
Wow.
So to communicate
That's
that
transformative.
exactly to the project manager, saying that, look, your people do not need to, your team members do not need to wait for the other person,
Right.
like to wait for a day, and you're paying them all this money.
Right.
Like, for example, one of the firms shared that within a 60-day POC, they've already saved close to $1 million.
Love it.
It's huge.
Yeah,
right?
that's amazing.
And so that's what, right, communicating those sort of statistics,
Sure,
and then
those
coming
metrics,
down, right?
Right, strong hooks.
Exactly.
You can quantify what it is you're trying to do. It makes it that much easier.
Exactly.
Right.
We are able to understand more with the numbers.
Yeah.
And coming down to the middle, talking about, like, you know, customer use cases, right? They want to know, okay, what has somebody else in my industry done?
Middle of the
about this?
funnel.
Middle of the funnel, right? And in the bottom of the funnel, like, they are obviously, you know, looking for very high level. It's the decision maker itself.
Right.
So we want to give some infographics combined with some of the case studies too, at a much more crisp way.
Love it.
So they could consume
Sort of
it.
this combined holistic approach based on the different parts of the funnel and the different personas that are part of that funnel.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, let me switch gears and ask you a question. Preethy, what is your superpower?
What is my superpower?
Yes.
Well, my superpower is that, you know, I am able to bring teams towards a goal, rally them up, and then map out what we need to do to get to the goal, and help work with the team to get there. right? So
Okay.
I'm very good at connecting the dots. Like, when you take a particular goal, like for example, we had to launch, when I first joined the company, we had a launch in 3 weeks.
Wow.
And gathering the whole team and getting that going was phenomenal, right? And I thought that we came together as a team, and I loved that.
But how did you do that? Like, what's the magic behind rallying a team and launching something 3 weeks into your job? That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one, I believe, is clarity of thought.
Okay.
Right? Having that clarity on what are the 5 things that need to happen to make this launch a success.
Sure.
And what does that 5 things translate on a daily basis on how do we get towards, and having those regular checkpoints to make sure that we are actually making progress.
Okay.
Right? Because people really want to help, right? I really truly believe that everybody is coming together and they want to contribute. And as long as we make it clear how they can make a difference and make sure that we are checking in with them to make sure they don't have any obstacles and hurdles,
Right.
and making it all come together and aligning the whole team,
Sure.
then we win as a team.
Yes.
And that's what I love doing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
What was the last book you read, and when did you read it?
Well, I'm reading one right now. I try to read a book every 2 months.
Okay.
I listen to books, actually. It's easier, right? We have a commute
For
in
sure.
the area.
I'm-
Everybody has
I'm
a
fan
commute,
of
right?
listening as well.
Exactly. So I'm reading this book called $1 Trillion Coach
Okay.
by Eric Schmidt,
Yep.
ex-CEO of Google.
Yep.
And it's about the coach Bill Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
He may not be a household name, but he certainly was a household name with all the several CXOs in the Valley, right?
Okay.
Including Steve Jobs and several others from Google, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, and others. And he was also the CEO of Intuit. So this book is so inspiring because it is absolutely applying to where I am right now. And it was my coach who recommended this book.
Okay.
Right? And so I've been reading this book the last month or so. And I have several other books that I've been
I'll have to
reading.
check it out. $1 Trillion Coach. Check it out.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing. Do you have any daily habits or rituals that keeps you productive and focused?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm a meditator,
Okay.
right? In fact, I teach meditation too.
Amazing.
So those are
That's another
interested.
superpower that Preethy has.
Exactly. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So yes, I meditate every day, and it helps me focus better. And it helps me also step out of the situation, right?
Okay.
Step out of the situation and look at it more holistically. And then I also reflect, right? That's a habit that I had to develop. It doesn't, come naturally. It didn't come naturally to me.
Okay.
So I had to make it a habit, right? Think about, okay, look, this is a situation. What did I do well? What did I not do well? What can I do better? Who do I talk to understand what could I do to be a better leader?
Got
So
it.
that reflection is very critical for me.
Huge. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of meditation, and we're going to talk more about that in a second segment, so stay tuned for that as well. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us regarding your role as VP of Marketing or Panzura?
Well, anybody who's interested, reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Sure.
We are always looking for great people. For those out there who are considering a career in marketing, go for it. It's phenomenal. It's a very exciting time to be in marketing, and that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Preethy. So, Preethy, you're VP of Marketing at Panzura, but you're also a practicing meditator. You teach meditation. So let's talk a little bit about meditation and sort of why that's important. I'm a big believer in meditation. I think it can be transformative. What type of meditation do you do?
I do the Art of Living.
Okay.
And there are 2 practices mainly that people learn in Art of Living. One is the sky breathing technique.
Which is what?
It's actually a very, interesting technique that helps to eliminate all the negative emotions and,
Okay.
and all the toxins from the body.
Okay.
Right? And it stands for Sudarshan Kriya Yoga.
Okay.
And it's easier said as sky. Right? And then the second is an effortless meditation. Effortless meditation
Okay.
called Sahaj,
Sahaj.
meditation.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the 2 techniques.
So
that I practice.
okay, one is removing the sort of negative emotions from your physical body, your mind, I guess your mental state. Tell us a little bit more about what does that look like? How does one sort of practice that, and what have you seen as a result of practicing sky meditation?
Well, I can start with, how did I get into this
Sure.
whole meditating?
Let's start there.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, I was in my late teens, and my mother introduced me to that.
Okay.
And when I first got in, I didn't realize how much of value I was going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And because most times, we're all living in a very full lives. We have all that we need in the U.S. especially, right? And
Right.
so most people might be wondering, like, why do I even need to meditate? Right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's only when I delved into it that I realized what I was missing.
Sure.
And I wish I had done it before.
Uh-huh.
It's like, every day we are succumbed to so much stress, right?
Yep.
And stress is a very overused word, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's different forms of stress, right? There is good stress and bad stress.
Mm-hmm.
And especially the stress that comes from when you're overworked or you're worrying or, you're trying to deal with the relationships issue and other different things, right?
Sure.
It's mostly relationship, health or career issues, right?
Uh-huh.
Mostly.
Right.
So what I realized was, as a result of starting my meditation practice, this was 19 years ago, I was able to always clear my mind. I'd imagine, like, every day morning, you could wake up and you have a whiteboard and you just erase it fully. It's empty.
Okay.
And you're ready to start your day as though it was like the first day you were living.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that's the power, I
Yeah.
feel. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you sort of have that, you clear it, and you practice your meditation, you sort of have a new canvas every day where you can sort of recalibrate and reset.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, and you set the intention.
And you set
What
the
are you
intention.
looking to do, and what do you want to do
Right.
in a given day?
Right.
And it gives you that clarity. It gives you that power, that the focus to go towards and make things happen.
Yeah, I am not a daily meditator. I would like to be. I'm working on it
That's
to build that
wonderful.
muscle. But there are two types of meditation that I've been more focused on recently. One is called box breathing. Are you familiar with this one?
Is that the four
This is
in?
the
Yeah,
exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, so this is you breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you exhale for 4, and you hold for 4.
That's right.
And you create sort of this box as you breathe. And this is actually what the Navy SEALs use, the breathing technique before they went out on sort of a mission
Yeah.
to help them sort of get in this flow state and be very focused. So, and it can be very transformative when you do that. The second practice that I've also recently been introduced to is called 4-7-8 breathing technique.
Okay.
It's a pranayama type of breathing.
That's right.
Where you inhale for 4, you hold for 7, and you exhale for 8. And you sort of actually make a whooshing sound
Yeah.
as you exhale. And also, a little bit of that type of like intentional breathing can go a long way.
Absolutely. And for the scientific minds out there, right? Just to break that down, what you said, you shared something very insightful. When you do that, either the box breathing, holding and then, releasing, and the same thing, with the pattern pranayam,
Yes.
right? You're actually expanding your lung capacity.
Exactly.
Right, and so because what's happening is when we are born, you see children, their lungs just expand 100%. Right, you see they breathe fully, but when you see adults, we are using as low as 30%.
It's shallow breathing.
Shallow
You're not
breathing.
conscious of your breathing.
Exactly, and
yeah.
so by doing these breathing techniques and meditation, you're able to sort of make sure you have bigger lung capacity,
Yes.
longevity.
Yes.
You live longer.
Right.
You live fuller lives, happier lives.
Right.
So
Yeah,
certainly
it's-
something everybody can do.
Everybody needs to practice meditation. It's really can be profound. So, going back to your journey as a meditator, you started long ago, so you've built this muscle for many years. You've talked about intuition as well. Tell us a little bit about why is intuition important?
So the gut is our second brain in our body. And, with meditation, the gut grows as big as the palm of one's hand. It can grow as big as that. And when that happens, right, you start to emote better. We talk about IQ and EQ. We talk about EQ. It's become so popular nowadays.
Yep.
And the intuition being the second brain, you can actually then feel what is happening around you. What are people actually, feeling? What are they thinking? And you can, many a times, I can just, within a few seconds, know if a person is still aligned with the conversation or if they're drifted away or if they are not actually agreeing. which helps me because even if they may be saying something,
Right.
if they are actually feeling something else, then it helps me like just to make check-in, like is this still okay? Is it a concern?
Right.
So you can make those conversations deeper with the other person,
Yes.
and make sure that they are actually coming together.
So the importance of sort of listening to your gut and your instinct and what you're feeling, and being open to that, and then sort of navigating your conversation or whatever situation you're in to bring that part into whatever it is you're doing.
Exactly. And second piece is creativity. Right, nowadays there's a huge ask for everybody, for any line of work, to be more creative. Right?
Right.
How do you be more creative?
Right.
Marketing is obviously one of the areas.
Yes.
We have to be creative.
Definitely left brain, right brain.
Exactly.
For sure.
And so the gut, many people, who have been great creators have leveraged that intuition, right? Be it a painter, right, who's painting the next big, painting,
Right.
masterpiece. Or it could be a marketer trying to figure out how they have to build the next campaign that would help them be successful.
Definitely.
So that intuition is critical
Right.
for each of these areas to be successful.
And bringing it back to marketing, in lieu of data, you have to have sort of an instinct or a gut or have a hypothesis on, okay, I think this is the way to go, right? And that part of it can be your gut having this feeling, knowing that this is going to work in terms of whatever positioning or copy or messaging. And then, I'm a big fan of A/B testing or multivariate testing to then, test your hypothesis, or was your gut right? And then you can actually get some data within, a significant period of time to look at, did it work or did it not, based
Yes.
on the outcome you were going for.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the fact that, meditation is such an integral part of your life, and it should be part of everyone's life, really. How do you leverage the sort of the intuition, the heart, leading with the heart versus sort of the brain or the mind in your professional career?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the right time to talk about it, right? Like the new generation, the upcoming generations,
Right.
are all so thinking about impact.
Yes.
Right? How do we make an impact to the society, and how do we make sure that there is actually a sustainable world
Right.
for the upcoming generations, right?
Sure.
And so that's where the whole head to heart comes, right? And especially the Sahaj meditation is the journey from the head to heart.
Okay.
That's one of the things that the founder of Art of Living had talked about, right?
Okay.
It's your journey from the head to heart, Sri Ravi Shankar. And you need both. You need the head, you need the heart, you need the gut also.
Right.
When you're talking about the data, you talked about the analysis and looking at patterns, thinking about things, reflecting, you do need to use the mind, right? You need that to make sure that you're calibrating and you're recalibrating,
Sure.
you're assessing, right? And then when you come down, like, to the heart, when you're connecting, when you're building relationship, right? Because people actually respond better if you're actually, making sure you're touching the emotional centers.
Right.
Right? People are inspired to do something when it touches their heart, right? We call
100%.
it the heart-to-heart communication.
Yes.
So that's very critical. And that's, more and more in business, you realize that was always the case. All the great world leaders, they used their heart to communicate. How did Mahatma Gandhi bring so many people? How did Martin Luther King, Dr. King bring so many people together? It was the heart-to-heart communication,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the intuition that we talked about, right, which is always there in the background or guiding everybody. Everybody has intuition, right? Whether you believe it or not, everybody has it.
Yes.
And it's like taking time to develop it more, right, with the meditation and breathing and all the techniques.
Love it. Makes a lot of sense. So there's a part where you have to use your mind for the analysis, for the self-reflective part of it, and just help you sort of navigate that part, and then connecting from the heart and inspiring, really important, and then making sure that you check in with your gut and your intuition, because there's something very real about that component as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, love it.
Wow, you're great in summarizing.
I try. It's the art of listening. I think that's also really important, right? Like,
Absolutely.
So I wish we had more time, but thank you for sharing this other, amazing side of you. As a meditator, and really sort of bringing that to your day-to-day in terms of your personal life and your professional life.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Meditate.